Did you know that nearly 85% of men have no idea they are being betrayed? That figure is not just a statistic, it's a stark warning to those men still living in ambiguity and doubt. It's a painful truth that many choose to ignore. But if you're watching this video, it means you're ready to face the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. Don't be discouraged or feel alone. The fact is, women have very subtle ways of hiding their true feelings, especially when it comes to infidelity. They are not like men, who often display obvious signs or clumsy actions that leave evidence behind. Women are true artists at constructing a dense curtain between reality and illusion. They can say perfectly normal things, but behind those words lies an entire world of emotions, thoughts, and motivations that many men know nothing about. Today, I will reveal to you the 6 most common phrases a cheating woman often uses. Those phrases may seem harmless, ordinary, but in reality, they contain warning signals you cannot afford to ignore. This is the key to recognizing the truth before it's too late, so you can protect yourself and avoid losing yourself in the whirlwind of emotions. If you want to elevate your awareness of your relationship, understand women's psychology more deeply, and refuse to continue living in illusion, hit like and subscribe to the channel right now. Don't let yourself remain trapped in darkness when the light of truth is only a few minutes away. Have you ever heard her mention someone else with eyes full of admiration, as if that person is the only one who truly understands her? The phrase, "that person understands me better than anyone else," is not merely a passing compliment, it is a warning signal you cannot ignore. When she repeatedly brings up that person not just as a friend, but as someone who makes her feel understood more deeply than you do, it means a new emotional bond is gradually forming. A connection that is steadily replacing the place that once belonged to you. This is not a harmless comparison. Every time she uses that person as a benchmark, it creates a small crack in your relationship. Those words, gentle as they may be, indicate that she is seeking comfort and attachment elsewhere, somewhere you have never been present, or never deep enough to claim her heart. From those moments on, the distance between you two is no longer merely physical but spiritual and emotional, growing wider by the day. If you feel that comparison as a silent dagger, do not hastily dismiss it. It is the alarm bell that a seasoned man will never ignore, because when she starts looking for understanding from someone else, you are standing on the brink of a separation that may be impossible to mend. Statement 2. Don't worry. I'm just hanging out with a few friends. May. Have you ever heard her say, "Don't worry. I'm just hanging out with a few friends"? Yet in your heart, you can't shake off a sense of suspicion. Those seemingly ordinary words can sometimes serve as a sophisticated cover for things she doesn't want you to know. When she casually uses the phrase, "just hanging out with friends," it may be her way of creating a thick curtain to conceal meetings you were never invited to, the lack of clarity in her story, the dates that aren't fully explained, or the illogical details gradually make you feel insecure but without concrete evidence to prove it. This prolonged ambiguity keeps your mind constantly asking, is it really just friends, or is something else going on? Hasty explanations and a tendency to avoid subtle questions are signs of skillful concealment. She doesn't need to lie outright, because her silence and lack of transparency are enough to make you doubt yourself. And that, to an experienced man, is the warning you must not ignore. Be clear-headed in recognizing that hanging out with friends can simply be a pretext for her to create distance. It's a distance not only in space, but also in spirit, a boundary, that you are being pushed outside of bit by bit. When phrases like that appear more and more often, don't let sweet words deceive you. Instead, rely on your intuition and careful observation to preserve your self-worth. Statement 3. I need my own space. There is a phrase that sounds gentle and very ordinary, yet it can mark the beginning of a silent distancing. I need my own space. Everyone needs personal space to breathe, to think, to renew themselves. But when this phrase becomes a constant excuse, transforming into an invisible wall that separates two souls, that is when you must be on guard. The personal space she demands is not just temporary distance or a breath of fresh air to balance life. It is a deliberate gap so that she can spend time on things you don't know about, on relationships or thoughts in which you do not belong. Gradually, you will notice she shares less, appears less in intimate moments, and conversations become brief and chilly. I need my own space is also her way of creating a safe zone where she does not have to face the pressures and responsibilities of the current relationship. And if you're not alert, you may inadvertently accept that distance only to wake up one day and realize she has gone far away from you, even if her body still remains beside you. A seasoned man does not just hear those words, he sees through the actions. He knows that love cannot grow in isolation, and when she needs too much space just to breathe, it means the relationship lacks connection and companionship, the very foundations on which love depends. Do not confuse respecting her personal space with being shut out of her world. When personal space becomes a wall of separation, you are no longer a part of her life. That is when you need to face the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Statement 4. I have to work late tonight. The classic excuse for absence. For nights she does not return. For questions left unanswered, those words are, I have to work late tonight. You may have once trusted and even felt proud of the hard-working woman dedicated to her job. But when that phrase is repeated too often, too frequently, it ceases to be an explanation and instead becomes a screen behind which the truth is hidden. You begin to feel that stories about work grow long, vague, and difficult to verify. Sometimes she might truly be stressed by pressure, but there are also times when work becomes an excuse for her to avoid you, to avoid necessary conversations, or even to avoid confronting herself. Sudden late hours, urgent phone calls, and the mystery surrounding her daily schedule gradually create an invisible wall between you. A seasoned man does not just hear those words. He pays close attention to the small details, the eyes, the tone of voice, the way she evades deeper questions. He recognizes the mismatch between her words and her actions, between her physical absence and the emotional distance. When you ask gently, she may answer in a tired tone, as if to discourage further questions, but deep down, you know you are facing the truth, an unsettling truth, that she might be spending that time with someone else, on things you are not meant to know. Do not let the phrase, working late, turn you into a stranger in your own relationship. Do not let her increasing absences become a deep cut in your heart. For when true love remains, people will find every way to be together, not to avoid or run away. Statement 5. We should spend some time apart. There are phrases that, on the surface, seem gentle and ordinary, yet they carry the power to shake an entire relationship. We should spend some time apart. A phrase that appears to be an offer to refresh or rebalance things can, in many cases, serve as a harbinger of collapse. When she says this, What she truly wants may not be peace, but a distance large enough so that she can breathe, I think, and walk away from you. It is her way of freeing herself from the ties and responsibilities she feels have become too burdensome. This distance is not only physical but also spiritual and emotional. When she proposes a separation, that is the moment she begins to no longer want to share everything with you as she once did. Phone calls and messages become sporadic. Everyday conversations are no longer told. She starts building a private world that you are not invited into. A clear-headed man will not take this phrase lightly. It is not merely a suggestion, but a challenge, a warning. She is setting a boundary, and if you fail to recognize and address it in time, you risk losing everything. Do not let this distance become an abyss that separates you forever. Listen, observe, and ask yourself, is this a sign of the end, or is it just a temporary phase? Whatever the answer, the important thing is that you must not blindly ignore the signals she is sending. Statement 6. You deserve to be happier. There are phrases that sound sweet, even laced with regret, yet they carry an undeniable weight. You deserve to be happier. This is not merely the words of a woman aware of her fault, but also the first sign indicating she has begun to withdraw from the relationship. Even though she has not directly said goodbye, this statement is not simple humility, nor is it just self-reproach. It is her indirect acknowledgement that there are things she can no longer offer you, perhaps love, honesty, or commitment. When she says this, she is also constructing a door to walk away, an escape route for the mistakes and betrayals you may not yet know about. You may feel pain. You may feel betrayed. But remember, that phrase is also a warning. It is an invitation for you to be alert, to reassess the entire relationship and yourself. It is not the moment to cling at any cost, nor to justify or explain. It is the moment for you to ask the hard questions, to examine your own worth and future. A seasoned man understands that truth, no matter how painful, remains the only path to finding freedom and peace. And if the woman has said, "You deserve to be happier," perhaps that is the moment you should begin to look ahead, even if that path no longer includes her. Recognizing those phrases is not meant to turn you paranoid or to control the relationship excessively. It is not the time to use suspicion to tighten a grip and suffocate the love you have. Instead, it is a reminder that you must stay clear-minded, listening more deeply to the inner voice, to the call of your intuition that you may sometimes choose to ignore. When those phrases appear, when the smallest signs begin to seep into your life, that is precisely the moment you need to pause and observe. Observing is not done solely with your eyes, but with both heart and mind. Because a relationship is not built on empty promises or outward gestures alone, it is nurtured by sincerity, by the genuine presence of two hearts. If you sense something is off inside, do not be quick to dismiss that feeling as weakness. On the contrary, it is an important signal for you to take a step back and evaluate whether the path you two are walking is still heading in the same direction. You need to listen not only to her words, but also to the silences, to the invisible gaps between you. When suspicion gradually becomes clearer, you may need to have a frank conversation with your partner. Such a conversation is neither easy nor comfortable, but it is necessary to uncover the truth and choose the right path for both of you. If the love is still strong enough, this will be an opportunity to heal and overcome difficulties together. If not, it may be time for you to prepare for new steps, to protect your own worth and self-respect. Ultimately, A man who knows how to preserve himself is one who faces the truth, no matter how painful, and has the courage to continue on his own path. That is true strength, not control, not suspicion, but clear-mindedness and self-love. The truth, though it may be very painful, remains the only path that leads you out of ambiguous days, long nights of doubt, and the loneliness within your own relationship. Do not let yourself be lost in a love where you are not valued, where you are not placed in the right position within the heart of the woman beside you. Hold fast to your self-respect. Hold fast to the grit of a man who has experienced love and sacrifice, but also knows exactly what he deserves. If today's sharing connects with you, helping you awaken and recognize things you might have overlooked before, do not hesitate to hit like and subscribe to the Stoic Heart channel. This will be the place where you find deeper insights into women's psychology, ways to preserve a marriage, and above all, how to stand firm in yourself amid temptations and challenges in life. And I very much look forward to hearing your story, those hidden experiences, those things never spoken, or the questions that leave you feeling confused. Please leave a comment below. Perhaps your story will be the inspiration, the wake-up call for many other men who are lost in love, struggling in the midst of doubt and loss. So, what was the first sign that made you realize the woman next to you was no longer yours? How did you experience that feeling? Share so that together we can understand, stand strong, and become even more resilient. Don't forget, there is no place here for meaningless weakness, only for men who dare to confront the truth and move forward with self-respect and unwavering will.